About to go finish this tour. I'ma go home. I'ma spend some time with my family, with my friends, and I promise you, the next thing I'm doing is going right back to the studio with Tay Keith from Memphis, Tennessee, and we gonna make us some new music and have us a new party in Nashville. Hey, I love you with all my heart. For real, I go by the name of Drake, and I will love Tennessee till they take me off this earth. I love y'all. Good night.
All right, Mr. TALIAFERRO TV, how's everybody doing out there? We obviously understand that Drake is on tour with the Migos, and the tour is picking up. By the way, I will be heading to one of the Drake and Migos tour dates. I've finally made a decision, and I'm gonna go see it after seeing a couple of my friends there. It looked lit. I'm gonna catch one of the later dates in November. Drake's on tour with the Migos, and it's really to the point where every night he's trying to find a different way to connect with the crowd and create another moment. I appreciate it. He cares about the art. I heard he's killing it on stage, and I salute Drizzy Drake for that. Now, when he was in Nashville, Tennessee, obviously that's as close as he's going to do to a Memphis date, and we obviously understand that Drake has heavy ties to Memphis. He spent a big part of his childhood there. I briefed with Drake's dad a couple times in the last few months. I did not realize Drake had so many ties and so much family in Memphis until I heard it out of people around him mouth, right? I realized that, he really is connected to Memphis like that. I was a kid when this time period would have been when he was in Memphis, or damn near not even born, right? So in regards to Drake and his Memphis ties, we understand what he did for Block Boy at the top of 2018. That dude linked with Tay Keith. They finished the Look Alive record. He hopped on it. He came to Memphis, shot the video, did that, like a 1 week span, few days span, and Block Boy's life has never been the same. Heck, Tay Keith's life has never been the same. That dude is everywhere. And we understand that Drake has a love for Memphis music. Drake and OVO are probably one of the best, if not the best, at finding young talent, hopping on waves too soon rather than too late, right? And in regards to Tennessee, we heard Drake at the Nashville tour day stop say, look, I'm going to be getting back in the studio with somebody from Memphis. It was in Nashville. Tay Keith still is at MTSU, if I'm not mistaken, still in school. This crazy, talented producer. If you don't know who Tay Keith is by face, you definitely know one of his records. I mean, just in 2018, the man has worked with Drake, Eminem, reportedly Kanye West, and he has worked with Travis Scott. That might be for sure. Drake, Eminem, and Kanye West are three of the biggest rap legends ever. And by the way, that list could get crazier than that. When you talk about the new stars like Lil Yachty, the Migos, Cardi B, he's worked with all of them in 2018 as well. I'm gonna be honest, it's been Tay Keith's year, right? It's just been his year. And you've definitely heard that tag, Tay Keith fuck these niggas up, because that's what he been doing. He been fucking these niggas up musically. Now, I like what Drake is saying. He's saying, I'm gonna hop back in the studio with Tay Keith as soon as I spend a little time with my family, hop off tour, and I'm gonna create some music. There have been rumblings, and I have not heard this from Tay Keith or anyone in his camp. Obviously, I have not heard this from Drake or anyone in his camp. There have been rumblings, though, that Drake would consider doing an entirely produced Tay Keith project. Maybe closer to an EP, but potentially 6 to 8 records. Drake has admitted that Tay Keith is somebody that he calls frequently for music, and Tay Keith has admitted that he talks to Drake quite frequently about beats and music and production and everything else. So we know they got chemistry. They're like 2 for 2 right now, right? They did the Non-Stop joint. They did Look Alive. Oh, well, 3 for 3 because he was on the Sicko Mode. Tay Keith produced the back end of Sicko Mode, which might be one of the biggest records in 2018 that had on Travis Scott's album, right? So again, they have a 3 for 3 track record, and I've heard rumblings that they might consider doing an entire project together. I would be here for that. Sometimes we've criticized Drake for kind of getting stagnant with the music. I thought that was a theme on the More Life album on a couple records. But to me, it looks like Tay Keith challenges this guy in the studio. I've did a few videos on Tay Keith. I think it's important that I keep bringing him up for a couple reasons. I'll get to the second one in a minute. But number one is because we're looking at a guy who might be one of the best of his era, right? And he's putting on a crap ton of artists from Memphis. Every artist that I do interview from Memphis, they all tell me the one consistent thing they have in their life, and that was consistent for their career, from the Block Boys to the Kenny Moneys to the Key Glocks to the Cocash. all these artists say the consistent thing there is Tay Keith. Black Youngster, Moneybagg, all these artists say, yo, Tay Keith was there, right? And in regards to Tay Keith, as he moves forward, he might be one of the biggest producers in the last decade. Yeah, and I'm not like just trying to gas that up. Yo, he might be one of the biggest producers in the last decade. Second thing, reason why I always show love to Tay Keith, it's like my third or fourth video in regards to him. I gotta tell y'all a little quick story here to end this video. This is a TALIAFERRO quick story, man. About a year and a half ago, I received a phone call. And there were two guys on the phone. One was in the background and I was on the phone with another guy. And I was out of town and the guy was like, yo, there's a producer here who really want to do an interview with you. Tay Keith really want to do an interview with you. We need to get that done. I didn't blow Tay Keith off because at that point he still was working with the top artists out the city, right? But he wasn't working with Drake at the time, right? Or Travis at the time. But he was definitely the top of the crop, and he's been the top of the crop for the last few years now, right? In Tennessee. And I wasn't blowing the interview off with Tay Keith. It was his manager that was on the phone with him. Tay Keith was in the background. But it was one of them things where I didn't push the envelope when they asked for the interview. I should have pushed that. I should have seen the talent. I should have seen his trajectory as a producer and hopped on that. I should have seen the story that this dude was having big records and he was still in college and still is in college, right? Getting his degree. I should have been able to see the talent that this kid possessed at the time. And I should have pursued that interview. I should have made a way for me to get in town and figure a way to do that interview, right? That's probably my biggest regret. That's probably the interview that I would say that's my biggest regret in my young on the music side of my journalism career, right? Today, and you know, just to teach anybody out there a little bit of a lesson, take it from me personally, like, yo, if you believe in somebody's music or if you believe in somebody's talents and you know you mess with their talent, right? You've been I don't care what it is. You've benefited from that person's talent, and I had benefited from Tay Keith's music at the time. You should be more willing to work with that person because you never know where they're going to end up. And that's an L I got to take. I've honestly not been able to link with Tay Keith and do an interview since. The nigga too big. To be honest with you, pause. But the dude, his career is just taking off. I ain't been able to catch up with him. And I told people around me, if that interview never happens, I ain't mad at it. I don't have any bitter energy towards Tay Keith because that's my fault. I should have been more of I should have, my music ears should have been like up. Like I should have had them things really listening to where Tay Keith was going. I should have been able to see that story coming. I usually get those stories, but I should have seen that one coming and I missed it. And I've reached out a couple of times. I've been unable to get him on the phone or even get him in person for an interview since. I'll continue to reach out because he has a phenomenal story from what I've been told. But that's just a little story from Mr. TALIAFERRO. Tay Keith might be the biggest producer down south right now. I'm gonna be honest with you. He might be damn near the biggest producer, period, right now. But for sure down south, he's in that running to be the biggest. Y'all talk to me in the comment box below if y'all listen to Tay Keith and rock with Tay Keith's music. Drake says, and this is the biggest artist in the game right now, period, in Drizzy Drake. Drake says he's about to link with Tay Keith. He made that announcement in the middle of a show. The biggest artist in the world stopped his show to let Tennessee know that more music with him is coming with Tay Keith. If you're not on Tay Keith yet, he's a big deal, and you'll be hearing much more from him soon. Tay Keith, keep fucking these niggas up and tell your manager to hit me so we can set this damn interview up. Thank y'all for the time, lovers, but I don't take it for granted. Oh yeah, and happy born day, Tay Keith. I'm out. I came from nothing, but I want everything God has for me. I interview celebrities. I talk sports. I still represent the culture.
All the kids, they are now tuned in.
Yeah, we locked in right now, Mr.
TALIAFERRO.
Mr. TALIAFERRO.
Mr. TALIAFERRO.
Mr. TALIAFERRO.
Shout out to Mr. TALIAFERRO.
You're watching Mr. TALIAFERRO TV.
Mr. TALIAFERRO TV, here with the triple B's, you can't do nothing but win.